similar.
Enrolled.
I'll second the block.
You can see her.
Okay, well then that's all we need then.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. And then Brooke's gonna take it down.
Once he's done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at
that, I'm running somewhere.
Well, it's definitely taller than me.
Laughing.
We made sure you got that.
Yeah, thank you. Marty.
Kim, when did you drink water? When I saw your picture of your birthday?
What did you? Is it the short?
Who's this?
John, that was, yeah, sure. Yeah, I get last year, when I was back in over, yeah. Oh, he did, I did that. I'd like to call the meeting to order, rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight for our school board business meeting. Our first item is open forum. We do have one person who would like to speak during the open forum, Casey Walters. Sorry if I didn't say your last name right. Nope, that's perfect. Okay. Good. Thanks for coming. No speaker.
Nope.
All right. Hello, board. My name is Casey Walters. I'm a parent of a Lakeview Elementary student, and I just want to take a I just want to take a few minutes and say thank you to the board and to the staff at Lakeview. So since the mask mandate has been lifted, the last few months have been back to normal, and it feels so good. Just to be back in the classroom with not having to worry about quarantines and getting emails home. So I'm just very thankful. And our kids are now, able to do field trips again, and parents can be in the schools. And so I just want to extend my thank you for that. And I hope that we can continue to progress with that, because our kids are really exploring different things with being able to not have those masks on. So I just say thank you, and to our staff that have been working so hard for that. That's awesome. And I also just wanted to speak because of the meeting tomorrow, and remind you guys to, take that very seriously on who we look for superintendents, and listen to the community for what we said in the survey results, and really take your time. And I appreciate the effort, because I know it takes a lot of time to go through that. And if we don't find the right candidate, like hopefully we can find somebody in the fall or next year. I don't want you to feel rushed or burdened to make that decision so quickly. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All
right, number 4, celebrating our district success, the Albert Lee High School robotics team, the Broken Zip Ties, got that name right, and Burke Enger, take it away.
So my name is Burke Hager. I'm a teacher at Southwest Middle School also.
Why don't you guys all go up behind Kim?
Go up behind Kim?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Or in front.
Sorry.
So I'm Burke Hager. I'm a teacher at Southwest Middle School, also an educational technology coach for the district and head coach of the Albert Lee Broken Zip Ties. This is the first year of the Broken Zip Ties competing in VEX robotics. What you see before you is the culmination of all the hard work and effort that the students did. Got a really late start of the season, started late November after Thanksgiving. First tournament was December 11th, and I'm going to let them kind of talk about their journey and kind of where they're at. I'll let them take it away. Brecken?
Oh, me? Okay, so our first tournament was in early to mid-December at Mankato State University in Mankato. And we didn't have a lot of time to prepare, and so our robot was really unfinished and kind of scrambled together, shall I say. And we placed 32nd. Okay, Max, 32nd? Is that okay? We're gonna go 32nd. And for having just 2 weeks, 3 weeks to prepare, we thought that was really good. So we took what we did badly at Mankato and transferred it into an entire rebuild of the robot for about a month later at a Wyndham tournament.
At the Wyndham tournament, we did a lot better. It was a little bit of a smaller tournament. There was like 20 teams, and we went 6-1 in the qualification rounds and ended up winning the tournament. And that qualified us for state. And we had about 2 months to prepare for state, which we did rebuild again because that bot was just not worth for state. It just wasn't quite like good enough. And Max can talk about state.
So the state competition is in St. Cloud, and it takes place over a period of 2 days. So it's a pretty big tournament, and there's 60 high school teams that we compete against. And then in qualification matches, we went 6-1, which is really good because we never expected to go almost undefeated at state. And then after that, we got placed into the elimination bracket, which is how we were able to qualify for Worlds because we made it to the semifinals. Before we just barely lost by 8 points, I think, to the first seed team, which is 2 really good teams. So it was a really big accomplishment for us to almost beat the 2 best teams in the state and qualify for the World Championship.
This is all as their first year robotics. So then we get back and they're on robot build number 4. So rebuilt the robot a 4th time. I had a little bit of hair, but it was all gone after every time we come back, they rebuild the robot. It drove me nuts, but it worked for them. Gabe, tell them a little bit about our trip to Worlds. So.
Well, it was a long drive, but
Very long drive.
it was worth it. We didn't get to elimination, but we were very close. Had we gotten like 1 or 2 more wins, we would have gotten to eliminations, and I wouldn't. But if we had gotten there, who knows where we would have gotten from then.
So at the World Championships, the fortunate that the school district and the support of the board were able to send us down there because being a first-year club, first-year program, we had very little money. The district really stepped in and helped to make this trip a success for us. We've done a lot of fundraising and efforts to get things. But at the World Tournament, there are 800 teams from around the world. There's teams from Angora, New Zealand, Finland, Canada, United Kingdom, China, all over the place. In our division, we were pitted against some teams from Canada, Mexico, and the United Kingdom. But they broke those 800 teams out into 10 divisions with 80 teams each. We ended up finishing 30th in our division, which put us at about 380 overall for all 800 teams, which for a first time ever competing at this event was a pretty exciting time. All right, so you want to tell them what maybe your funnest thing was at the tournament?
Just getting to see, all the, like, everyone from around the world, seeing all these different teams, their robot designs, just, just seeing all these people from around the world and like, from all these different cultures and backgrounds.
Easton, tell me a little about what you did and your experience at Worlds 2.
I was the programmer, and let's just say I had a fun time over at Worlds was a big understatement. It was more or less an experience, once in a lifetime. I was able to go somewhere that isn't in the Midwest, which was really good. And honestly, school board, I can't say more than thank you for letting us. I cannot say more than thank you for believing in us and giving us this opportunity. And I hope that like more hands-on technology will continue to flourish around the district. Thank you.
Questions?
So what do you do when you compete? You beat up another robot?
So you get a random alliance. So an alliance is, so it's always a 2v2 instead of a 1v1. So in the qualification rounds, it ranges from like 6 to 10 qualifications depending on how big the tournament is. And you get paired with a different robot, just completely random. And what people you're against is also random. And if you win, the higher you go up in the qualification is the higher you go up in the rankings. And if you're in the top 16, you get to pick an alliance, which is a robot that best matches yours to like compete with an elimination bracket. So, and then after that, that's like you're getting seeded, and then you get your alliance partner, and you go into the actual elimination bracket that competes for the win.
A lot of this game was called tipping points. The strategy of this game was you had to collect these mobile goals and stack rings on them, almost like a ring toss. And you had to, so our robot could hold a goal in the front of it and the back of it, and the goal on the back of it is a conveyor belt that would feed rings on it. And the strategy that we employed was grabbing 2 goals, trying to run around and play keep away, because really came down to who had the most goals on their side of the field at the end of a 2-minute competition. And then there was also a balancing platform that you could drive up and balance. And so really kind of strategizing of how to get the goals and holding on to, and after tournaments figuring out, okay, we can hold the goals and increase the torque in our motors so that we can drive up holding the goals to even get more points for it. They've already released this year's game. They're chomping the bit for next year. Next year's game is like akin to a frisbee golf. So you have to launch these discs into goals that are going to be around. So this robot is useless for next year's game. So it's a brand new game, brand new robot. And so they're already coming up with ideas for next year's competition.
How long did your sessions take to actually decide how to build the model? Because I'm sure everybody had different ideas. How'd you come together on it?
It ended up being that we settled on Ty's idea here. We took a long time to decide. A lot of rebuilds means a lot of ideas.
Yeah, whenever we when that first competition when like nothing really worked, and like we completely redesigned to something that would work better for the next one, because we like analyzed other changes so it would work better.
So part of what they have to do too is document through the design process. So they're learning some real life skills with their technology too. So this documents their journey, their designs, their testing. There were a lot of times that stuff didn't work. We've had many late nights. Thank you to the parents for, hey, we got some really good ideas. I need another hour and a half with them. I know we're supposed to be done at 6, but they're cooking with steam. We got to keep the fires going. And parents would bring pizza or let us keep going and having late nights and weekends and all kinds of times to get stuff going. And so they would try ideas. You can see to cross them out. The ideas didn't work, and come up with a new plan and a new idea, and really a lot of trial and error through the design process of testing it. And does it work? Does it not work? Seeing what others do. These guys, all of them are in forums that are built for these robotics competitions, collaborating with kids from all over the world on the things that they like, learning new skills, how to program things that they're doing that we can incorporate into our robot. Really a lot of great skills of transferring to real world job skills for these students.
Will the whole team be back next year?
I hope so. Nobody's told me that they're not coming back. Yeah, so I think so. Are you guys everybody coming back?
For a year.
Yeah,
And there might be new members as well.
there you go. Yep, and it's generating a lot of interest at the school with, we've got a display case out there and we're winning. So if other kids want to join and get a part of it, so we're hoping to generate more interest, more robots, and so we can keep this going. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. You can go ahead.
Also under celebrating our district successes is Employee of the Month, Kathy. Dwayne over here.
So this is Dwayne Miller. Oh, no, that's too far, right?
You don't want to put him back
You want to
there?
have front and center. So this is Dwayne Miller. He is our head high school custodian. And Dwayne was nominated with a statement that really encapsulates how the high school staff feel about Dwayne. For everything he does as part of his job, he goes above and beyond and is always willing to help anyone. And if you know Dwayne, and if you had to work with Dwayne on anything, the high school is one of our widest used facilities in the district. It's a beautiful building, but it doesn't get to stay that way without somebody like Dwayne's caliber willing to take a look at all that needs to be done. And he is just very well liked at the high school. He's got a great personality. His wife is a former student of mine, so you know that. He's just an all-around wonderful person to work with. We call him all the time. We email him all the time. Actually, text him all the time. It's a lot of things that sometimes you have to change events at the last minute, and as last week, and he just did a great job making that happen. In addition, every morning, Dwayne gets the phone calls for who won't be at school to work that day, and he does the magic of helping move our custodial staff around so that all of our buildings are covered in the best way possible. Really behind the scenes work, and he's just really a great guy. And so I'm honored to award him the March 2022 Employee of the Month. Thank you. How do you get to say it?
Not a big talker, so I can't appreciate it. Thank you very much. Can't do it to help with my guys, so takes all of us, I guess. Thank you.
Keep up the great work.
Yeah, thanks for all you do.
Employee of the Month, Darcy Rasmussen. I almost called her Darcy Lynn, also a former student of mine. I'm very excited for her because she received lots of really positive comments from the Hawthorne staff on the work she does. She's principal secretary there at Hawthorne and really does a great job. So she wasn't able to make it tonight, but just want to recognize her. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Celebrating community success, Albert Lee Community Education International Award, Learning Resource Network. Learn. Chris.
I'm Chris Chalmers, Director of Community Ed. I wasn't a student of Kathy's. Could have been. Thank you for having Community Ed here tonight. A couple months ago, we received a Learn Award, and another international award for our school district to support our best print brochure internationally. So Learn is a learning resources network organization. They deal with over 800 organizations from around the United States and Canada primarily. That are lifelong learning organizations. And they had over 100 nominations, and we were one of 17 selected. So community education in Albert Lee, we have over 23,500 lifelong learners in our school district. And there's two important ways to get people involved in our programs. One is by having quality programs and word of mouth, and that gets a lot of people involved. And the second is our quality print brochure. And Kim Eric, our marketing person, really does a wonderful job putting these together, along with the help of Kim Herfindahl. They couldn't be here tonight, but they work together hand in hand. Kim is the artist. She does it, puts it, makes it all nice and neat, gets local photographs, people involved. And Kim Herfindahl goes behind the scenes, gets the stuff into the computer and does our online registration. So we're very fortunate to have a quality product that goes right along with our quality programs that we're offering for our citizens. So thank you for sharing our success with us.
Chris, any questions for Chris?
Good job.
Thank you.
All right. 6, approval of today's agenda. This is an action item. Do I hear a motion
So moved.
for a second?
I'll second.
And you can have.
Okay, I'll have it instead.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed 6-0. Consent items number 7. This is also an action item. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
I want to abstain since I'm part of the consent too. So I won't vote.
All right. Dave is abstaining. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, sorry about that.
Okay. All right. 5-0. Moving on to reports. Dr. Funk?
2 items tonight. One, the ALC graduates at 6 p.m. From Albert Lee High School Auditorium on Thursday. So I think the email from Johanna said try to be there about 5:45. And then 2, knock on wood, weather permitting here. Looks like a wet week, but it's going to be clearing out, it sounds like, by Friday afternoon. The plan at this point is to have it at the high school graduation in Hammer Field at 7 p.m. on the Friday evening. I think that is on Friday. And there will be a final weather call we made Wednesday to determine. And if we decide to move it indoors, we'll get the word out and it'll be moved indoors. So the plan at this point is to have it outside. So,
All right. School board member reports. Bruce, we'll start with you.
I attended a facility meeting. Some of the biggest projects this year, they're starting to re-roof starting to re-roof the high school this year. Is it a 4-year project or 5-year project, Steve? 4-year project, so it'll take 4 years to complete that. And then they're gonna replace some 72, 73-year-old plumbing fixtures at Hawthorne, some of the biggest projects.
Bruce? Jill?
Thank you. I have some questions in about the National School Board Convention and how that process worked this year. Also, regarding political emails, I have some communications about that, and it appears from my view that it looks like we only have a distribution of materials policy for non-school persons, and so I have requested that policy 505 come before the board and possibly the MSB model policy 904 in regards to material distribution. Also, tomorrow I'll be reviewing the stakeholder survey comments, and so I'm really looking forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill. Dave?
I just attended the facilities and Bruce, you covered that well, and had an opportunity to see another one of Diane Haney's great productions, The Frog and the Toad. Went to our spring concert and also been doing a little bit of baseball, so been busy and fun.
Dennis?
I had the business ed meeting. We met on May 6th. Michelle Morehouse is working with the workforce. It's a 6-week training program. They're trying to get more and more students or younger adults into the training to help meet some of the needs for reception and other pieces at different businesses in town, as well as also with for the workforce. I know Freeborn Mauer is still looking for an IT person, so they're trying to find ways to get very specific educational training either through students in the high school to the college or in the college to help start filling some of those positions. So really good discussion. And then our usual items, childcare still continues to be a huge issue as we move forward. I know there's some movement as more and more committee forming to do some work on that. So I think that's going to be really helpful. Talked about getting the word out on some of the different programs, using the videos and social media, and also the leadership. Albert Lee will be coming back again. So we'll probably see some of the meetings as they're learning about the education in the school district coming through the schools again next year, but they're looking for a September start. I was able to attend the Superintendent Recognition. It was fun to see a lot of faces. I hadn't seen people for quite a while, so it's good to be there. That's all I got.
Thanks, Dennis. Angie?
I also attended the reception for the Superintendent of the Year celebration that Dennis mentioned, as did everybody else here in the room. And then last month, I attended my first Schools for Equity in Education meeting. It was via Zoom. There were a few speakers, but the one that I was most interested in was hearing from Senator Roger Chamberlain. He explained the Minnesota Senate's perspective on the special ed cross-subsidy issue. It was just a really interesting back and forth between people asking questions and moving. So that's all I've got.
Thanks. I attended the scholarship night. That was a great night to celebrate our students and a lot of great deserving students. Also, it's amazing to me how many organizations and clubs and different folks that really put a lot of effort and into making sure that we support our students. But also, I think I want to do a little shout out to the staff at the high school because it's a lot of coordination. It's new staff. They did a great job. And so it was a fun night. I also attended the Superintendent of the Year reception. Congratulations, Dr. Funk. And then I attended the Albert Lee Greater Education Project that is under John Devil's umbrella of work. And he leads that meeting. And so we talked about the Future Ready grants that the district is part of. We also talked about redefining ready and what that looks like. And then that this is a national movement to redefine how we determine students' readiness upon graduation. And there's 3 areas. That's college ready, career ready, and life ready. And the life ready they're still working on. So it should be interesting to see how that progresses. And then that will also assist the district in navigating students through that process. And then he did indicate that Albert Lee High School in 2022-23, that next year, we'll be bringing back the guest speakers and then the shadowing experiences through that program. So it was a great meeting.
Great.
Laura.
All right. Hello, my name is Laura Wonga. I'm an ALEA secretary. I'm also 7th grade English teacher over at Southwest. Life itself is about movement and pause, work and rest. It's about relationship and valuing others and truly taking the time to show you care about them. This year has been a challenge. It's challenged every single one of those areas. But at the same time, we also need to step back and value ourselves in that process. Together, as a whole, everyone here made it a successful year. As ALEA, I'd like to send out a bunch of thank yous. I'm sorry if I miss anyone. I know I'm going to miss someone in this process. Thank you first off to the district office, the administration as a whole, for making the difficult decisions that you had to in order to make our schools continue to move forward this year. Thank you to the school board for making other difficult decisions to keep our process moving forward. Thank you to the building secretaries that are out there. Our schools would be lost without you. Thank you to the teaching staff for adjusting much of our curriculum in order to meet the needs of our current students and our current learners due to the COVID loss. Thank you to the many paras of District 241 with your help with students who need your assistance both in and out of the classroom. Thank you to the bus drivers, the custodial staff, the lunch staff for keeping our schools ready for daily functions. And also, big time thank you to the parents for the support of the district. Without you guys, it would have been a very difficult year. And one thank you that's often overlooked is a huge thank you to the students. We couldn't have predicted this, the COVID years, so to speak, but You persevered through and held your head high. Let's make sure that we finish this year strong with our heads held up high. This year has brought back many former traditions back into the schools, luckily. To start, man, do we have some talented, very talented arts and athletics. First off, watching some of the band concerts like Dave mentioned. I'm not musically inclined, and I am so amazed by all of those students when it comes to the concerts. A band, choir, orchestra, show choir. Wow, am I amazed. I'm also amazed by our athletes. We had some really some record-setting individuals and also teams this year. And also Mr. Egner, robotics, any non-academic, we've really stepped our game up there. In Southwest as a whole, we just hosted our Battle of the Books for the district-wide 5th grade, where all the 5th graders got to come in. And we also hosted the 6th and 7th grade battles, which were fun, and the kids really need to keep digging deeper into reading. This Friday at Southwest, our students, our 7th graders especially, for the first time will get to experience Exploratory, where they kind of get outside of the school building and explore some different opportunities. And then all students are really looking forward to this. On a non-academic success, we have, Mr. Johnson, is it 13 babies right now? We have 13 ducklings in our courtyard, which I think this is the, Dibble, is it the 2nd or 3rd year they're back? Yes. It's fun. The kids get excited, boys, girls, you name it, teachers. I know we have a pool out there for them, so it's just kind of an extra success to keep the spring rolling on. In closing, this year has been full of so many challenges, ups and downs, and as a district, we need to finish strong. I would like to wish the class of 2022 the best of luck whenever the future brings their way. Be proud of who you are and remember where you came from and what you all accomplished as a student of District 241. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. All right, curriculum and instruction. Oh, we don't have anything, sorry. Effective and efficient operations. Discussion of potential solar projects. We have a guest from Ideal Energies. Rich.
So this is Rich Reagan. A few months ago, the Minnesota Department of Commerce announced a new round of funding for school district solar projects. I was involved when I was in Byron in 2 such projects, when it was with Excel Energy, and we put solar panels on 2 of our buildings, and we worked with Ideal Energies at that time. We had quite a few companies contact us to see if we were interested in exploring the possibility, but because of, I knew that Ideal does a really great job, and what they tell us is going to happen, at least in Byron, actually happened. So I'm going to let Chris talk through it. Steve is here. Steve has been part of the process. They've had engineers out. I did talk to Tremco, our roofing people, and they indicated that they've worked with Ideal Energies on a lot of projects. It does not affect the warranty on our roofs. They saw no problem with these 2 particular roofs if we would consider doing this project. Well, let Rich take it from here.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, members of the school board. My name is Rich Ragatz from Ideal Energies. Our firm, we started back in 2010, and since then we've done overall half of all of the on-site solar that's been done in the state of Minnesota. And we have a particular focus on the schools. We like doing projects with schools. To date, we've done 32 different districts and over 140 projects across those districts, and all of those are rooftop solar arrays. And this program that we're talking about came about, and there's an $8 million pot of money that for the first time we're able to do schools outside of Excel Energy. These are all the utilities across the state, and I think we have 30 new utilities that we're going to be working with, including Freeborn Mauer that's down here. And so I guess next slide. So this is a picture of Orono Community Center that we did 4 buildings with the Orono district. And you can see that it's just a self-ballasted system that sits on top of the roof membrane. So there's aluminum trays with foam pads underneath, and then we'll do slip sheets or other foam pads, depending on what roof surface you have, to make sure that your warranty isn't voided as part of the construction. and they're directly south facing. It'll be at a 10-degree tilt, so you probably really won't see a whole lot of the panels up on the school buildings unless you have some topography where you're looking down on it. Okay, next one. Again, here's a sample list of some of the schools that we've worked with, and I met Jennifer back at Byron, and since then we're also doing an outstate project with Byron, and we're going to be doing 4 additional Xcel Energy served schools. So kind of a testament to how we operate. Our customers seem to be long-term customers with repeat business. So we're kind of under promising and over delivering and making sure that we're making these successful projects for people. I touched on this program. Originally there's supposed to be the ability to do up to 7 schools for the outstate program, and they had such a good response to the program that they limited the funding to 2 different schools for each of the districts, with some additional money coming down in the future in 2023. And based on your metrics, you qualified for $102,000 of grant money for each of the 2 solar projects to help make it a better deal for your district. And how we're different than everybody else, we do this so that day one, you guys are the fee title owner of the system, and we have a sister company that's the tax owner that helps pay for a part of the system. There's no money up front from the district, and you save money day one. We have to take on the benefits and burdens of ownership. So we're basically a partner with you for the 20-year payback, and you're going to be saving money every year, and we have to take care of the maintenance during that payback. And I guess good news, bad news with Freeborn and Mauer, the rates are toward the higher end of the range for utilities in the state, which makes it a better deal for you guys. You can see that on your projects, you're going to save over 50% based on the energy that's created each and every year as the array is around, for a payback of 20 years. Then we looked at a bunch of different buildings, and I think we kind of zeroed it down, didn't we, Steve, based on your conversation with Donovan and company?
With the roofs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we kind of picked the roof sections based on the best spot to do it, based on age of the roof and other criteria. So Hellerson Elementary, we'd be looking at a 59.2 kilowatt DC solar array. And then the next one is, this is the Southwest Middle School, again, same size system. And what you're seeing on that roof, it's a pretty small solar array. You're looking at about 4,000 square feet of footprint on that roof. And so this program right now is, there's a 40 kilowatt AC maximum. That's why we have the 40 kilowatts AC, and then you can use with an inverter, get it up to the 59.2. So there might be some additional programs in the future. We have 2 lobbyists on staff that we're helping kind of form some of this legislation where we might be able to do some larger solar arrays with your district in the future, potentially. And then here's kind of an example of what we're talking about. So yeah, maybe you can. So this year one, it's going to create about $10,057 worth of energy. We're going to pay you rent revenue. We do that because we have to meet some IRS criteria. So you're going to have $10,107 of customer revenue year one. You're going to pay us the $4,548. You also have to get a rider on your insurance policy, and that won't cost you more than $100 annually. And so your total expenses are the $4648. And so year one, you're going to have a savings or reduction in your utility expense on each of these 2 buildings of $5,459. And you can see that over the life, year 20, I think you're at $139,000. Over the 40-year lifespan, you're at $554,000 worth of savings. And just to let you know, these are kind of plug and play. You get them up on the rooftop. There's no moving parts. They're engineered for 50-mile-an-hour wind, 1.25 inch of hail. Really don't see any panels being damaged by hail or windstorms or anything. And
so who pays for them if they are?
Well, it's a warranty event,
Okay, for how long the warranty?
25-year warranty.
Okay.
Okay, and then maybe in the next slide. Thank you. And this is the other one. You have slightly lower savings here because this is your electrical rate of 14.52 cents. The other one was slightly higher, but similar fact pattern to what you're saving. And then what we do is we provide educational materials, and we've been doing that the whole time. Our very first 3 capital lease school district customers were Richfield schools, and we have these designed of 3 current learning standards that are out there, and we have a 5th and 6th grade program and 1 for the high school. And so it's kind of neat to teach kids about the renewable aspects. And we have online web-based monitoring, so you can get on. You can have a little app on your phone showing you what how much energy was created, daily, monthly, annually. Some feel-good stuff of like how much CO2 wasn't released as a result of doing the solar, how many equivalent trees were planted as a result of it, things like that to teach kids about the environmental aspects.
So is the curriculum required as part of the grant?
You have to offer, yeah, correct. But we've been offering it for years, and just this year they're requiring it for this specific program. And so there's a little kind of example of what the web-based monitoring would look like. And the kids will have fun getting on there. A lot of our school customers have it on the website, or they have it on a screen in the lobby or somewhere where people can kind of see it and talk about it. And next slide. And so then basically we have funds waiting there for doing 2 projects, and hopefully you guys are interested in moving forward with this. If so, there's a deadline of May 31st to get your application in there and move forward with contract negotiation and get it built for you this year if that works for you. And I'm here for questions.
Are there any rebates available for 3 or more?
Not for this, no. Most of the utilities outside of Xcel Energy, there's very few that offer grants for solar projects. They do it for the lighting retrofit, but not for the solar aspect yet.
Steve, the roofs that we're looking at have already been replaced, or this doesn't damage them, but will it be in the way in the near future?
Right, we picked them because they've been done, they're recent, in the last 2 to 3 years that they've been rebuilt, and yeah, they're out of the way of rooftop units and stuff like that, that if we have to replace one, we're not gonna have to move it or anything like that. That's why we picked those.
Questions? Are there other companies that offer this, or are you a unique entity with Ideal Energy?
Well, there's other companies that do offer this, but they don't offer the same program. From what I've seen, nobody's going to beat what we offer because we have a unique way that we put this together. And most people will do a 25-year power purchase expense term, and they also, because you don't own it upfront with those models, those are third-party ownership models that you're going to have to buy it at the end of the 25-year period for fair market value, which is like 15 to 20% of the purchase price. And so we kind of turn things on its head. And that's why we've done so many of these, is that we provide a lot more value and a quicker payback.
So you do all the initial setup, put in, or is there a expense to the district to get the project started?
There's no expense to the district. We do this all ourselves. We're basically vertically integrated, do everything in-house with our own electrical company, our own installation crew. We finance it, we design it, we put it together, and we have an operations and maintenance department that will be on top of this, looking at it, and if there's any issues, come out and fix it.
So no real idea, no calculated cost at this point on what it would be to the district. I see $102,000 that we would qualify for. Is that like 1/3 of a project? Is that 10% of a project? I mean, what is that Yeah, I mean, that's, I'm sure, part of the negotiation.
Yeah, it's a little over 50% of what the
It is.
project would cost. And so that you assign that to us and we use that to help pay for the system.
So Rich, you and I talked earlier that this was going to be a informational session, and that the board could vote at the work session in early June. I do see that there's that May 31st deadline though. Is that a problem or?
No,
Okay.
so that's just to get the application in there, and if you guys are up for moving forward, we can get you in there. And as long as we get something in June for an approval to move forward, then we can kind of meet the timelines of the program.
Yeah.
What's the projected installation time?
Well, it's dependent on Freeborn and Mauer, how fast they'll act. We have to do an interconnection application with the utility, and that's the wild card. But assuming that it's a 2 to 4 month process, that we're probably looking at a fall installation. And the installation won't, we can work around the school hours, do it on the weekend or night if we need to. But once we get it loaded on the roof, you're really not gonna, there's not gonna be any inconvenience to the students or teachers.
Jill, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions at this time. Thank you.
So does it, this is kind of a formality kind of thing, just informational to, would the board like to start the process and then come back in June to vote on it? Sounds like you have to start the grant process, right?
Yeah, we've already started the process, but we kind of need to finalize that grant process. And there's no cost or obligation to do that. So
If we start this and submit an application and then decide in June not to, is there any problem with that or there's no
I'll be
downside?
sad, but.
Okay. We don't want that.
Jennifer will work with him on that.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds great. Anything else? Thanks so much for presenting and.
Thank you for your time. Really
Jennifer
appreciate
and
it.
Steve.
Thank you.
11.2, approval of food service management service contract. This is an action item and Jennifer Walsh is presenting.
So the contract that is included in the board packet is the Minnesota Department of Education template. It reflects exactly what was in the Chartwell's RFP proposal. MDE also has to approve this, so I'm asking that you approve this contract. The contract would be for next year. That you would approve it contingent on the MDE approval. We would have the opportunity to renew the contract for up to 4 years. And that would be a year-by-year renewal.
I'll make the motion since I sat on that meeting and I think we got all the information we needed at the last presentation on it. Clarified all the questions. The big thing we were waiting on was the MDE approval.
Right, yeah. So they've got all the information now and I've been back and forth with them a couple of times, but I don't anticipate a problem.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Any questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Motion carried 6-0. 11.3 memorandum of understanding with the Albert Lee Education Association. Kathy presenting.
Thank you. So I know Jennifer talked a little bit about this at the last meeting when we looked at, you looked and approved the teacher master contract. Just a couple things to point out. This is a one-time stipend. And then you'll see in item number 4, this does not set any precedent for any future issue. And it is for employees who remain in the fall of 2022, 2023, and they'll be paid on or about the 5th of September. It also includes our retirees who would be paid out before the end of this school year, their last paycheck. Questions?
This is an action item. So
I have a
Go ahead, Joe.
Sorry, I have a question, but maybe you want to take motions first.
Let's do that. Is there a motion?
Okay.
So
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, so motion and second, any discussion? Go ahead, Joe.
Thank you. I have a question, Kathy. How is it that it's not setting a precedent?
Because it states that in the memorandum of understanding, you state it very clearly, this is not a precedent, and that's the understanding of both units, or both sides of the agreement, the school district, the school board, and the teachers association. So you state it.
Okay, thank you. And if I could add a comment to that, then it is not my preference to have this kind of a stipend in an MOU. I know there are other ways that we can get the funds to the teachers. And I don't, to me, even though it says it's not setting a precedent, it certainly feels that way, and is an agreement that, you know, moving forward we'll have to keep in mind as part of the history. And so for that reason, you know, only because it's in an MOU rather than some other format or some other way that will benefit the teachers, I will not be supporting the MOU. Thank you.
Help me out, Jill. How would we do this in some other way?
So I'm understanding it's through the COVID funds as if we had paid the stipend before to staff.
Right,
Is it the not?
Yes, and we paid the previous stipend district-wide to every employee in the
Right.
district.
Correct.
Now we're just paying it to one group. So how would we do it outside of an MOU?
I don't know. Is there not a
exactly-
way? Is there not a way to do? Excuse me?
No, there's not a way to do it this way.
Okay.
Because we have one particular group, we have two actually, because you have another one coming up, but that's the difference.
Thank you. And what did you say right before that? Sorry, I missed it. What did you say right before that?
Yeah, the same thing's coming up with the LPNs here in the next motion, because because again, those are the only two groups who are doing it this way.
Memorandums of understanding or memorandums of agreement are written very specifically in non-precedent with language that indicates it is not precedent setting. You've done this similarly with the MOU for QComp or ATPPS, and you vote on those every year. You can say no to those if you wish, or if the school board negotiates differently. But an MOU is specifically has to have a sunset clause.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
I did have one thought to share, and I just wanted to explain my vote a little bit last time when we voted on the contract, which I had no problem with the contract, but I had voted no because I wasn't comfortable with this stipend, and I was told those two were tied together. So I've had some time to think about it and talk to people, and I'm still not entirely sold on this. And the main reason, partly I agree with some of Jill's points there, but a main reason that comes to mind is, you know, this is being kind of sold to us as a retention stipend. And from my understanding, this is a big issue, but the reason we're losing staff isn't because they're not paid competitively. It's because they're burned out and they're stressed out. And I just would rather see us use these funds to try to address that root cause. So that's my thought.
Any other questions?
No, I just have a comment, and thank you, Angie. I feel like we as a school board are limited on because of our structure to do some of the things that and if you have suggestions, great. This is something we can do, and we can show them that we support them. And I feel like retention in any sector right now is huge. And I feel like this just shows that we as a board are as invested in them as they are in our district. So anybody else?
It seems like when we did the one before, it was for everybody, so there's no need. It's just we're voting for everybody. But because every time we deal with a specific bargaining unit or group, we have to have a very strict memorandum in order to follow through.
Yes, because it's outside of the normal contract in this case, and it is for only one unit in this dollar amount.
Thank you.
Do we need to do a roll call vote for this? We'll do, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Aye.
All right, motion carried.
Thank you. The next is our Licensed Practical Nurse Association. This is a smaller group with less than 15 members in this group. This is a very similar settlement. You received this information prior that this is 3% in year one and 3% in year two with no retro back to July, with the retro back to January 1 in year one. This group has some longevity increases. Health insurance, like all of our groups, keep whole in year one and 0% increase in premiums across the district in year two. And then some clarification language you've seen in multiple contracts: no stacking on health insurance, eligibility to use post-retiree health insurance benefit on a policy of their choosing, and then clarifying some vacation language that they asked to have clarified. This group is also represented by Education Minnesota and was very professional in their negotiations, so compliments to them.
Great. This is an action item. For a motion.
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Is this tied to the stipend, kind of like the teacher contract was too?
Correct. Both are part of, well, they both are part of negotiations, correct.
Any other questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you.
Motion carries.
The next item is a one-time retention stipend of $125 for these employees with the same parameters. They would be employed through next school year and would be entitled on or about September 5th if they're still employed for that $125. Again, item 3, this agreement does not set any precedent for any future issue. And they have no retirees in their unit, so there is no clause similar to the teachers.
This too is an action item. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Seconds.
All right. Any discussion?
What is the total cost for this?
For that
Yes.
unit,
Yeah.
Less than $1,500.
15.
I was thinking it was not very much. I had some similar thoughts on this,
Yeah.
but the cost is so low that I don't view it as a big deal, so.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 11.5. No,
So this is-
11.6.
Yeah, so this is a group of employees that all are hired. They are all probationary teachers and they're hired under a variance called an out-of-field permission or a tier 1 or 2 license. These employees, when they're hired under OFPs, they know they have a 1-year contract and will be purposefully non-renewed at the end of the year. We did have, I believe I told you 12, and I believe we have 11. We were able to keep one of these employees due to another teacher resigning. We were able to backfill one of those positions. Almost all of these we plan on bringing back post July 1 under the rules of PELSB. We have to wait till July 1 to hire them back, and we jointly apply with the employee for an out-of-field permission. And we have to prove that we've tried to hire people who already have the full license that we're asking for that variance. And so these positions have to be posted anywhere from 15 to 60 days, depending on who we're hiring and how long they've been in the district or if they've been in the district before. So these employees are all fully aware. Some of our tiered license staff, we're holding off on some of those until June because we're hoping their tier 3 license comes in, and actually one came in today, so I'm glad we didn't put that person on this. So these are all employees who are kind of in that, their license lapse. PELSB said they are done at the end of the year. So you're taking deliberate action to ensure that they are non-renewed. Somebody asked, well, so-and-so has a tier 4 license and an OFP. So if that tier 4 license was not a position that we want to put that person in, it's very important that you non-renew them because you may not have that position for them. So these employees are all well aware of this.
They were aware when they were hired.
We're aware of it. Correct.
This is an action item. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Just want to thank you, Kathy, for answering my questions. I appreciate that. All right. We'll take the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Does this need to be a roll call?
We can certainly do that. Yep. So Ashley conducts the roll call.
Bruce Olson,
Aye.
Joe Martin,
Aye.
Dave Clark,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Dennis Beaver,
Aye.
Angie Hoffman,
Aye. Thank you. Motion passed. 11.7.
So this is the second resolution on this action item, placing an employee on unrequested leave of absence. You did the initial resolution at the April board meeting. That employee has not asked for a hearing. Therefore, this action would be the final resolution on placing this employee on unrequested leave of absence. And yes, this employee is fully aware of all the rights.
An action item. Is there a motion?
so moved.
In a second.
Second.
Roll call.
All right. Any discussion before we do roll? All right, Ashley, will you conduct the roll?
Bruce Olson,
Aye.
Lauren,
Is that me? Aye.
Dave Clark,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Dennis Beaver,
Aye.
Angie Hoffman,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Thank you. Last one, 11.8.
So you all received information, confidential information on this resolution, and should have received a copy of the letter prior to this meeting in your email, in addition to the information sent last week. Put this resolution here.
So essentially, you are being asked to discipline an employee based upon the letter that was sent to you earlier this afternoon. The employee has certain rights under their bargaining unit. Once those rights expire, that discipline can become permanent and reviewed, but not until that point in time.
This is an action item as well. A motion.
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
We'll do roll call for this one as well.
Bruce Olson,
Aye.
Joe Martin,
Aye.
Dave Clark,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Dennis Beaver,
Aye.
Angie Hoffman,
Aye.
6-0.
Motion carries. Thank you, Kathy, for all your work. Before we adjourn, I just want to share our mission to ensure individual, academic, social, and emotional growth that leads to engaged citizens and lifelong learners. Meetings adjourned.